Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do a beautiful barn painting, maybe a little fence, and it should be a lot of fun. We're going to use acrylic today. And if you're enjoying these and you want to see more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more painting videos. All right, let's get started. Now I've mixed together a nice soft green. You can see I've used just about every color. There, it should be nice. We're just going to drop in a little bit of a background color. I'm working pretty dry here, and of course this is my my toned canvas. Normally I like to use like a yellow or an orange. Today I'm using a purple just because I literally was standing here thinking I'm going to do something different. I was going to do orange. I had orange mixed up. So yeah, there you go. It doesn't really matter. It's just a point of covering the canvas. Now I know I'm covering my SketchUp, but that's okay. That's all right, because I kind of put it in there to help me just figure out where it goes, and I'll sort of remember where it went, I hope. There we go. And I'm just gonna really mush in some abstract background color. This is one of those oh, by the way, this is a real scene. In fact, let's show the photo on the screen so that way you guys get a really good view and you get to see what I'm copying today. And sometimes, I don't do it a lot, but it's really a lot of fun sometimes, just a straight up copy a photo. A lot of fun. So you really can teach you a lot about painting. Just look at nature. And this is a photo that we took of a really pretty barn. Actually, the whole scene is just weird how nice it was set up. It just looked like a regular, like somebody set this thing up, you know, like a regular painting. But no, it was just a picture. And it all just was the way you see it there. How cool is that? There we go. Anyway, enough of this. I'm just going to keep going here with darker colors and just literally just abstract paint color in the background. And then we'll start pulling our shapes and our detail out of this area. It's not so far back. It's a pretty short painting. I think I was going to tell you that before I got distracted. It's a short painting. Now I'm going to load up with a nice light yellow. Actually, my paint's kind of drying. I might need to, you know what I need to do? I need to mist it. So I have my mister bottle, and sometimes I'll just come along here and just give my paint a very quick spritz of water there, and that just kind of keeps it moving. Otherwise it tends to dry up on your palette. You don't have to do that all the time, just whenever you feel it sort of drying up. There you go. Depends on the day and the humidity and the heat and all that good stuff. Well, anyway, I'm just, as you can see, just dropping in a little color, and you know, what, maybe 3 or 4 minutes here, well, maybe 5. I got just a little bit of a more refined detailed edge just by tapping with the number 4 flat brush. And I figured, well, since we're kind of just blocking in large masses of paint, we should probably just get this area, this grassy area in. And because it's already got that nice tone on there, it's pretty easy just to spread some color. We're going to highlight and maybe add some, well, yeah, for sure, add some extra texture. I'm just literally putting color on the canvas to work with. So don't think of this as a finished painting area by any stretch. We still got a lot of work to do here, and it's not in any way looking great yet. I'm just more concerned about getting the canvas covered with paint than anything else. With paint that's, you know, the right color that we're using. Yeah, so anyway, hope that helps. It kind of gives you an idea how I like to go about a painting. And there are many different ways, and I do several different ways myself. It just kind of depends on the day and honestly the painting. I want to put a lot of detail in this area, so it's good to kind of start getting the colors established before we work on this barn, which we'll want to make sure we get the color right on that. There, oh yeah, I like that. Just because we're copying a photo doesn't mean you can't put your own twist on it. Now I'm going to go ahead and begin to underpaint our barn here. I'm going to use a nice rusty dark red. Actually looks like I'm going to need to squirt out some more red. And I've also got just a little bit of foundation medium down here. In fact, let me show you, I haven't showed you in a little while. There's our foundation medium. People have been absolutely loving this. Seems like everybody that tries it has enjoyed using it. I love it. I think it works really well. It helps the paint to slide right along, but it flows more evenly than with water. When you add water to your paint, and boy does it flow, but it's kind of uneven. This just spreads so evenly, it's just wonderful. So it's something that I personally use and just absolutely find so worth it. Absolutely, it saves time and energy, and it just makes life easier when you're acrylic painting. You don't always use it, but boy, when you use it, it's nice. So if you haven't already checked it out, it is available on the website. You can go there and pick up a little bottle. Totally worth it. All right, well, anyway, let me keep painting here. Maybe just a little more orange as we come into the foreground. I just touched right into a little bit of my yellow ochre light. And just, there we go. Just brush that right in. I'm kind of going with the grain of the wood, because why not? There you go. There's your professional art reason. Why not? Oh boy, we get too much fun around here, don't we? Now I'm just finishing up here with my little fence. You see we just dropped it in pretty quick there. I'm just adding a couple of more fence posts and rails here. I guess these are rails, not the fence posts. Anyway, it makes a turn down kind of forward toward the foreground here. Kind of finishing up on that. Good. You see, I really didn't take it all that far because I'm going to put plants in here. Get that one just a little more detailed there on the top. Okay, that looks good. Yep, now we'll obviously want to make those a little more detailed later, but for now, let's just get a little bit of our black and green going. And I'd like to just throw in the stuff growing up against this fence. Very, very pretty. See how that pushes it back? It makes all of the difference. And it pretty much goes just to the height of the fence, maybe a little bit over, but not much. And then to highlight, you just kind of tap right back over the fence, just like we're doing here, except with the light. Pretty simple to do. And another important thing is that we get some color along the bottom of the fence here. See that? Good. Let me wipe out my brush and then soften some of that back. And we can actually bring out some larger stuff from this too. There we go. Now I'm going to use our micro filbert brush to drop in some nice beautiful light on this fence. And of course everything here is dry. I just quickly did some highlight. I actually made some leaves there, which I think will be good. But everything is going to shrink back as far as the plants are concerned. So you do more plants than you want because they'll shrink back when you go to highlight this fence. See what I mean? Look, they're already shrinking back. And that's a good thing because you can kind of use this to your advantage to sculpt the painting. And see, like right in here, I want to see that fence post come through. Yes, I like that. That's a bonus. That's something that works better in acrylic than in oil. You can do it in oil, but it's certainly easier in acrylic to kind of do what I'm doing here. Just fill in afterward. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, there we go. Isn't painting fun? Boy, gotta have some fun with it. There. Now I'm going to drop in some sticks here using our liner brush. And one of the main differences between the oils and the acrylics are the dry time. So you could put in sticks with the liner brush anytime. I would never do this in oil because of course it thins down the paint. You might want to go over this area and you couldn't do that. It would mix mud, but honestly for acrylic it doesn't make any difference at all. You could start with the liner brush. I don't know where you'd go, but you could certainly start with it if you wanted to. It just won't affect the painting. So there you go. I'm going to do this just because I feel like this will help to add some extra detail that I feel like we really need just before we go off and finish the barn and all that other good stuff. There, that looks decent. Tell you what, maybe a stick on this side. Yeah, because with all these plants, you know, there's going to be some sticks. And we're to the point where I'm not following the photo exactly. I'm just kind of tweaking it here and there where I need to in order to make it really work better for painting. Some things you just have to mess with, and we're going to do that. So maybe over here, a branch coming out just from behind the barn. You can do this toward the end. I'm just more for my reference than anything else. And then maybe just a light, well, that's maybe too light. Go a little darker. Maybe just a light branch here or there. Good. Just to kind of get us ready. I've been looking up there at that tree. We're going to get this tree in here pretty soon with the highlights. Probably can't even see this, but that's okay. I can barely see it in person, which means it's definitely worth doing. There, just a little highlight, kind of random almost. Oh boy. Yeah, good. Tell you what, let's leave that for just a minute. A lot of that will be covered. And let's quickly grab our fan brush. And I'm actually going to go into a little bit of our foundation medium with it, which I have now in a cup down there. And I'm just going to pick up, you see I had to squirt out some more paint recently because it's dried up. There. So now we're going to just load up with some nice light yellows. And it's good to just squirt out enough paint. Just enough. You don't want too much because if you squirt too much out, it dries up on your palette and then you waste it. You end up having to squirt it out again. We don't want that. So now I'm just going to come in and I'm going to kind of do my second phase of the grass Now the photo is longer than our canvas. You know, it's not the same proportion. So in my mind, I'm starting to have to kind of tweak angles and stuff. So it's not going to line up perfectly as far as the scale is concerned. But the subject should be pretty close. The lighting is a little tricky. In the photo, it was really almost impossible to tell. So I went ahead and kind of did a light coming in like this. There we go. Good. Just rinse out my brush and then draw that back. There, I'm just finishing up, kind of putting in a little bit of grass. Maybe, you see I just did a little highlight of some rocks and dirt there. Maybe just push those back in a little with some of this extra grass. And it's kind of just our finishing up of the land area. Kind of want to get that out of the way pretty quick here. So I'm looking over here at the barn, and I think we got to get some work done on that barn. We don't want to forget about it and kind of run out of energy. So let's go ahead and stop and do the barn. Let me grab our little flat brush and just a nice light pink color, and actually a little bit of our medium as well would be a good thing. Just dipped right into it. I'm thinking right about here we just start and drag it right down. Now you don't have to do the same color every time. In fact, every time you reload, get a different color. I'm going to get a little more red this time. You just pick right back up where you left off. It's good to have multi-colors in there. Yeah, that looks nice. We can always put our shadows in. I think the most important thing would be to get these lights in first and really make it just stand out. Then you put the shadows in later. Shadows are easy. There. Gotta be careful where you put your hand. Some of it's wet. There. You can always repair stuff, so don't ever worry about going over stuff. It's okay. You can always repair and put stuff back over. That's easy. Yeah, that looks good. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop in some cracks and details here in this barn. You can use a little bit of your medium. I'm just using a little umber and black. There. You don't want them too big, but here's one trick for you is you usually want to take them right over that transition point there. See that? You don't always have to, but do that 99% of the time and you'll have a better result. There, it makes it look like it's part of the same, ooh, you can see it's not even dry. Part of the same building that way. Very good. And like I said, you don't have to do it over everything, but kind of do your best to add in some detail. There, actually it's a little thicker than I wanted, but maybe it's nicer that way. It's not quite that thick in the photo, but it doesn't hurt to add a little character. So just spend a few minutes on this. You can even use your fan brush if you thin the paint down really nice. So we may do that if you need a little extra detail. Now, one of the last things we're going to do is detail out our little fence here. And not to try to make you go cross-eyed or anything, but we just need some extra life and highlight and detail in this area because it's so close. We really don't want it lacking because it'll if you have it kind of smooth and blurry, it's not going to look real. It's not going to look close. If you want it to look close, you have to make it a little bit sharper. Sharper, that makes sense, right? Nice sharp contrast and detail. And that's what we're doing. Good. Just a touch, you know. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? So I'm just really piling on the white. I'm breaking my own rule here. This is pure white because this is painted. I know it would reflect the other colors, so we may drop them in, but you know, I just like the way that looks. It looks very close because we do it this way, right? Very close. All right, now maybe I'll just drop in another, just for the sake of doing it, I'm going to drop in just a green touch here and there. That's a light green. There, now we can just barely see it. It's reflecting the colors of the trees now. Now I'm just finishing up planting this little tree trunk in the tree. See, we just cover it up with little highlights so they're more like mid-tones, but it just seats it into the painting. It makes it look good. And now I'm going to take my angled filbert here, and I'm going to drop on, you see I darkened this area. I'm going to drop on some ivy that's growing down. This is the right brush for this. See how it gets that nice leaf, large leaf look, super easy. You just touch with it, almost automatic. You have to do very little effort. Just touch with this brush and turn your hand different ways. Good. And then you just walk that right down. Nice and bright and vivid. That's really pretty. You can skip around if you want to. Make sure your leaves are large enough to be convincing. Good. And you also don't want to do this. Right? That doesn't look good. Instead, let me darken the color just a little. Instead, what you'd rather do is get a little bit more connection going. See that? You want to connect them together. Each one touches another. There. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching.